to order and respectfully acknowledge that this meeting is being held on the traditional territory of the Quabbin peoples of Yellowkestle. Before I start, I just want to wish everybody a happy new year and hope everybody had a good Christmas and a good break and off to our second half of our term in council.
Right.
May I have approval of the agenda as presented? Moved by
Move.
Councillor Smith, seconded by Councillor Dugas. All in favor? Carried. We have the minutes of the special council meeting held December 10th for adoption.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Dorwood, seconded by Councillor Robertson. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Carried. We have our minutes of the regular council meeting held December 10th, 2024 for adoption. Moved by Councillor Dugas, seconded by Councillor Smith. All in favor? Carried. We have our, from business arising from the minutes and unfinished business, we have our council action item report, December 10th, for information. Any comments?
I have one. I'm sorry, I apologize. I meant to mention this ahead of time. Just how the Beaver Harbor Park bequest was moving along.
Oh,
Sorry, I meant to mention it before.
our archaeologist has been away for a couple of weeks, so I'm just waiting for him to get back to me to see if the portal has been updated with the information that was provided to me just prior to Christmas, that our permit had moved to a point of exploration request and not to approval request, but that the Minister of Forest Aid that was assisting us had managed to get us to that point of further exploration. We do have a 1-year extension on the bequest itself from the estate. So the new date is December 7th of 2025.
I did have a question about it. No, somebody had asked me.
Oh,
about it.
yeah.
Okay, any other
Thanks.
comments or questions? Okay, we have no new business. We have much correspondence. We have from BC Honors and Awards Secretariat, call for nominations to the Order of British Columbia and the Medal of Good Citizenship for information. So if anyone is considering nominating, now's the time to do it. We have from Chris Gardner, President and CEO, Independent Contractors and Business Association, regarding protecting taxpayers from overspending on local government construction for information. Any comments? Councilor Robertson?
Well, I mean, there's an implication that municipalities aren't open and transparent in their process, which I disagree with. I think we are open and transparent in our processes. And then the letter's also referring to a situation with provincial contracts, and that has nothing to do with us. So I have thoughts on that, but it's. Yeah.
Do we want to write a letter in response or just accept it as and file it?
I was just say, yeah, there's no percentage.
Does staff have any concerns about accepting and filing?
No concerns.
Okay, receive and file. Okay. There's a final call for resolutions to the ABICC for information. So we were just discussing that.
You should bring that up.
And one of the things we were talking about is maybe there should be a resolution coming from us about power and expanding power to the North Island and the use of that power for expansion of wind farms, for close containment, for potential economic benefit of the North Island regarding, say, mining or any other industry. I'm just wondering, kind of talked about it.
Yeah, I think if we sit down for 2 minutes, we can put together.
Do you want staff to put that together for you to review before the next meeting?
That would be amazing. Thank you.
That would be the other better option.
Let me save you some time to do the
Oh.
editing.
As the old saying goes, you can do that in about an hour, right?
Two.
In-house joke.
And just so that I'm clear, basically what you're asking for is committing to the investment of the improvement of the power supply to the.
Oh,
North
good, yeah.
That would be directed to the North Island, not to the South Island or other places unknown.
Yeah.
And North Island being the Mount Washington region.
Yeah. Councillor Dorwood had her hand up first.
Yeah, could we ensure that we include how it's of benefit to everyone in that we can potentially bring on more green energy projects? So that it's kind of relevant to the whole island and the whole province,
Yes. Good point.
in the whereas or whatever.
Yeah,
clause.
that's a good point, Janet, because, yeah, it also includes run-over projects and.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point.
For the benefit of all, really.
I'm just concurring with what she said. I was just gonna talk about the green because that was the provincial government's
Mandate.
big mandate with regards to green projects. Yeah, that's awesome. Perfect.
Okay, thank you. From Joshua.
Can I, sorry,
Craig-
one more thing. And as we, move toward more electrification and less fossil fuels, that aspect as well. That, we're going to be demanding more electricity over time.
Mhm.
I'm done now for that subject.
Oh, that's good. No, these are good points. So,
Yeah.
anyone else? Okay, moving on. Joshua Craig, Director, Local Government Finance Minister, Ministry of Housing and Municipal Affairs regarding our small community grant for information.
Mhm.
I like how he called us a city of Florida.
We bumped up.
Yes. As long as we stay under
As long-
5,000.
Just gonna say that. I hope that, yeah, that's what a 5,000 did.
From Trish Mandola, the President, Union of BC Municipalities regarding the Canada Community Building Fund, our second Community Works Fund payment for 2024-25. Information,
Mhm. Nice to see.
nice to see, especially as we go into budget, and
Mhm.
finance committee meetings. From the Honorable Lisa Bear, Minister of Education and Childcare, read suicide resources and supports for school for information. So that was in response to a letter that was written to her about suicide prevention and supports in school. Does anyone have any comments?
I see that it's not shared with School District 85. It might be thought to share it with them.
Moving forward to School District 85.
Mhm.
Because we would certainly expect the school district to be involved in proactive actions with youth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to be said.
More specific. From British Columbia Government House regarding Wendy Cockey, CMLLD Honorable, announced as the next Lieutenant Government of British Columbia for information.
Do we send a
So,
letter?
Send a letter.
of congratulations.
And in that congratulatory letter, ask her to come have a visit.
We have had lieutenant governors that have
Here.
come up to
Cool.
the North Island before, and so it would be good if they came
That
again.
would be awesome.
One was sadly for Bev's funeral. But
What's that?
one was sadly for Bev's funeral.
Mhm.
Yeah, and there was actually, I went to one that was out at Wagga School when the Wagga School opened up, and yeah, they've been. But it would be nice to include the invitation, come to North Island.
And bring 100 megawatt power line.
She could advocate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have no committee reports, staff reports. Louisa Bates, our Deputy Corporate Officer, regarding the 2025 proclamation listings. So there is a listing of the proclamations.
I'm just thinking, wow, this is a big list
Yes.
and it keeps growing.
And it keeps growing.
And it's very difficult to winnow that list without being.
Our CAO, Nelson Smith.
This will be coming to a policy and governance committee meeting at a time near you in the near future to discuss how we want to handle proclamations going forward. There's a couple of different ways that municipalities do it. Some municipalities don't do it at all.
Mhm.
Some municipalities will only do it if it's endorsed by a councillor, which is how we do it here. And some won't even take them unless they come from a community member within the community of Burnaby. So rather than getting those blank emails that come forward. So,
Yeah.
so there's just a couple of things to think about in terms of the current policy and we'll be bringing it forward with some recommendations.
That's great. Thank
Because you
you.
can see that there's a staff time component that is associated with each
Totally.
one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So until the policy changes or is amended, do we want to endorse the list of proclamations for the 2025 year? So moved by Councillor Robertson, seconded by Councillor Smith. All in favor? Carried. From our CAO, Heather Nelson Smith, her report for the second half of 2024 for information. Amazing report. So thank you. Do you want to discuss it at all or highlight everything?
Well, I think you can tell by the first page, the picture on the first page. I think the highlight for me as a CAO is getting to go to Nevada this year and visit our sister city and represent the District of Port Hardy as a representative from here, and that was very exciting. I think that I'm really, really excited about the work that we've done in terms of staff development and building up the employee base that we currently have and supporting them going forward. And I think that it kind of shows too, just in terms of how much stuff we've managed to accomplish in the last 6 months. Considering that I had a really hard time writing my report because I had to keep going back and adding, oh, and this happened, oh, and this happened, and this happened. And even to the point where I published it and then said, oh, I forgot to add. So there's definitely lots of things happening. But I also wanted to highlight some of the things that I definitely hear from the community that, maybe we don't report enough on is we do lots of really great fun things, but we're also doing a lot of things behind the scenes that I think council needs to be extremely proud of in terms of advocacy and the fact that we did attend 17 meetings of the UBCM this year. We had some really good dialogue. And even since the most recent election, we've had so much outreach from the ministers coming forward to meet with council further to those discussions, and even visiting the North Island. So even just before Christmas, myself and Deputy Mayor Tidbury attended a meeting with the North Island mayors, with the new Minister of Forests, who is definitely going around. I know that Councillor Tidbury will have some, and Mayor Pat Corbett will have some things further to add in their report of the outreach that's coming from the province. And then just in terms of one of the other highlights that I think is really important to point out is the decolonizing addictions and the work that Louisa did on behalf of the District of Port Hardy to help support that with Mayor Corbett Labatt and to ensure that project came forward. And I think that in terms of as an attendee of that conference, I felt very inspired to continue to do that work year after year to ensure that the community has a better understanding of what addictions are. And I think the other highlight is the pool was open, and I just recently did a grant and aid letter to the regional district, and we were able to say that we are currently up 309% in usage from 2019 with the addition of our pre-programs.
Yeah.
So on average in 2019 on average, we had somewhere around just under 20 people that were attending those public swims. We have now on average 64 people coming out to those public swims. And we also had our manager of recreation and her team ran a survey and found that roughly about 88% said that they would not have gone to the pool as often as they did if it wasn't offered for free.
Yeah.
And so I think that the impact that it's definitely had is gone forward. So council will note that we have asked for a $75,000 grant aid from the regional district, and to support that, we put in those statistics here to highlight that. And then if there's any questions, I'm here to answer any of them.
Any questions?
No, thank you. It's
No, I
I don't,
good picks too.
I don't have any questions. I just want to say it's a great report, the type of work we always get out of our CAO. And thank you very much. It's very readable. It was very enjoyable to read. So I think the community would find the same.
And I think too, having so many pictures in there,
Mhm.
it's just really, really positive. And, it was a great report.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have bylaw number 1178-2024, user rates and fees for 2025 for adoption.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Councillor Dugas, seconded by Councillor Smith. Oh, Councillor Tibber, you got your hand up too slow. Any comments? All in favor? Carried. Verbal reports. Well, I'll start with Councillor Tidbury.
Not very much happening. It's the beginning of the year. We had our Filmy Days meeting yesterday, which was most enjoyable. Lots of new faces kind of showed up. The only position that we filled at the present time was the treasurer, but we've got definitely people thinking about being the chair of the organization, and we're trying to coax somebody into being the secretary. But going forward with that, I think it's going to be a good time again, and we're looking forward to it. The other thing is attended the seniors meeting today. We got some things in the fire right now going that for the seniors. We got a whist tournament going, plus our usual bingos and things like that. We'll be also doing Wheels on Meal, Foods on Meals, is it, or Wheels on Meals, or I can't remember what it's called. But anyway,
Yeah,
it's where we give food out there to people, and we bought a bunch of equipment for that.
And Councillor Tidbury, you might want to mention about the Minister of Tourism, Arts, Culture and Sport.
Oh yes, well, that's an important meeting I attended there. I had coffee with the mayor, and as we're talking there, we got a call from the Minister of Tourism, and he called up to see how we were doing. He wanted to know about Telegraph Cove, and we kind of clued him in on that, and then we started. And I didn't catch his name at the beginning, but Trevor, can't remember second name.
Spencer Chandra Hubert.
Yeah. And so anyway, we got a little talking, and because one of the questions I always ask is, have you been north of Campbell River? And he has, and surprisingly enough, he's done the North Coast Trail.
Oh.
And he had a wonderful driver driving him home back to Port Hardy.
With white hair.
He drives a white van.
But as well, at that meeting, John talked to him too about the Text Line Trail.
Yeah. I told him that we, the problems we were having, like between ministries, and how we can connect all these ministries to agree on that this is a good project.
Yeah. Thank you, John.
I thank you, Mayor.
Minister Forrest, the same.
You did meet with the Minister of Forests as well, right?
Yes, that's correct. And I'm going to meet with him again down here. I'm hoping on Friday.
That's perfect. Thank you, Councillor Tidbury.
Extend our
Pleasure.
invitation again.
Did he say where he was? What he's doing? No.
Oh, I'm at the truck loggers right now, calling in from the truck loggers down in Vancouver. I just nicely, as you saw, I rushed up to my room and turned on my computer. Traffic
Well, thank
wasn't
you.
too bad tonight.
Good.
Thank you for coming. Councillor Dorwood.
Lost her.
Oh, she's there.
Well, hello. Yep. So I was happy to be to the Aquaculture Transition Task Force. It does sound like some progress is being made, and that they're listening, at least. So hopefully, so it's feeling more positive than it did in the beginning. I'll say that. With respect to trails that Councillor Tidbury mentioned, while I've been away, Travelers Group, and it's based on kind of southern Vancouver Island, and they mostly do mountain hikes. But they have just added a new challenge called the Beachcomber Challenge. And there are 18 trails in that challenge. So instead of being on mountains, these are around the ocean. And of the 18, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the Port Hardy area. The North Coast
Oh.
Trail, San Joseph Bay West, Lowry Bay, Raft Cove, Grant Bay, and the Tex Line Trail.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
So I expect we'll see lots of people in this group. It's quite a big group, very well organized, and I expect we'll see them up this way. So that's great. And on speaking of the Tex Line Trail, having been doing all these trails in New Zealand, they use a marking system. It's an orange triangle. And so that triangle can point left, right, down, up, whichever direction. A great marking system. And I'd like to see something like that adopted around here. Especially, I mean, that trail's supposed to be partly maintained, but it isn't. So I think look for some orange triangles on that trail in the spring.
Good.
But that's about it for me. So, and a happy New Year, everyone.
Mhm.
Thank you. Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I was sick for a good time in December, so I don't have too much to report. I attended the Philomedes meeting. We did lose 6 incredible committee members, and our executive was most of them that stepped down. So as Councillor Tidbury said, is that we do need some volunteers, or there will not be a Philomedes this year. So we're hoping that the community will respond and come in and come together so that we can have an incredible event. But yeah, because I think it's a good one. And then we had our Bear Smart, so we're just planning for Bear Smart Week coming up soon. So we'll have more to report on that as we get closer to Bear Smart Week. So yeah, that's my report. Happy New Year, and
Awesome.
good to be back.
Thank you. Councillor Dugas.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, as Councillor Dorwood had mentioned about having meetings with DFO, with the federal government with regards to aquaculture transitional planning, we've had a number of meetings with them. We've definitely, the mayor and the rest of us as council have brought our concerns to them more than once. And I think that they keep wanting more meetings with us. So I guess that they're listening to what we have to say and hopefully be able to work that into the plan. So it's a successful move forward with that industry in Port Hardy. Been involved with the Port Hardy Hospital Auxiliaries society as a member, and we just had our AGM. And at the AGM just the other day, Ian Wood from Island Health was there and did his little presentation about the expansion at the hospital and what they've been doing with regards to recruitment of staff. And so that was exciting news to hear. And there was a number of members of the hospital auxiliary. We have 40 members, and there was like almost 30 that were able to come for the dinner. So that was great. They did a lot of work between Christmas and New Year's over a process of time that we've been painting in there as a member. And we spent 5 days between the Christmas and New Year's and cleaned up the front of the store, repainted it, and did the carpets and cleaned her up. And I think that it looks really good in there. And it's a lot of volunteers. Last year they had hours of volunteers with 5,175 hours of volunteerism for the year. And, you know, that's a lot of hours that people put in down there. And they were able to, you know, accumulate a lot of money to be able to put back towards the hospital and they do support the fire department here and other agencies that deal with the kids for cancer and some of the other places down island with regards to housing for people that leave the North Island they're having babies or whatever. So they support all that. So a lot of money is made, but a lot of money goes out to the community and support that. So I'm really happy to be a part of that group. North Island Seniors Housing Foundation, we have ongoing meetings with our Indigenous nations with regards to our seniors housing for elders, seniors, and those with disabilities. And we're working along with BC Housing to hopefully make that happen. It's been a long process to date. We've been working on it for 8 years now. And hopefully we're going to get something happening here sooner than later. And also we would be working with BC Housing, but also with Island Health. And North Island Crisis Center has been very supportive with us as we move forward. So thank you, Mayor. That's what I've been up to.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson.
Thanks. Yeah, not much to go on, which doesn't mean I don't have a lot to say. But pretty quiet Christmas and lots of family having gone other places. So it was nice to be in Port Hardy. But just with respect to the Tex Line Trail, one of the storm events took away the somewhat dicey bridge that existed that Councillor Dorwood has referred to before. And so that doesn't exist anymore. So access to the trail from the parking lot and the trailhead is actually a bit dicey right now. It's not, I mean, you can do it and people do. And there's another access point if the tide's lower that you can get up, climb up a hill to the trail. But so yeah, that log bridge is down and it's been pushed over to the side. So yeah, and you know, I appreciate councillor colleagues talking about the aquaculture transition meetings that we have, and I do believe we are being heard in those meetings. The proof will come in whether we're being heard, what comes from them, and that's where the proof is. And so I fervently hope with everybody else that those supports will come into being in the next while, because there isn't a great deal of time, and we have pointed out. And just personally, I know Heather mentioned it in her report with the pool. I had the opportunity to take our grandson to swimming lessons today, and it was quite remarkable in terms of how the pool was being used. It was being used for swimming lessons beforehand, and it was, I think there are some people showing up for lengths afterwards, and it just put in perspective the effort that a lot of staff put into programming now, but certainly into getting it back online. And I know our grandson quite liked his time in the pool today. So it's you know, it's full circle. So it was actually funded. That's me.
Thank you. So I mentioned before that we're now halfway through our term as council, and I'd like to personally thank everybody on council for all your hard work. I'd like to also thank our CAO, all her department heads, and as well all the Port Hardy employees for all their hard work. We're all trying our best to make our town as vibrant and as positive as possible. And we know there's issues, but we're all trying the best we can. So thank you. The access to the text line trail was brought up at the RD meeting again last month. And,
I had called.
And there will be an article, I don't know if it's in the Eagle this week or was last week, about the text line trail and some ideas to get a bridge made there. I had a meeting with Island Health, discussing again our ER and how they're actively recruiting nurses and as well training ER nurses in the community. They've been asked to spread their training outside the community, and they have been adamant, no, they have to come to Port Hardy to be trained and stay in Port Hardy for a length of time. The hospital rentals will look like they're still going to be going forward, which is amazing because it's probably a one-time, lifetime opportunity to have our hospitals upgraded and more up to date. And there'll be more concrete information coming forward. But as the mayors have been meeting with Island Health, we've all stressed, need communication. We need to let people know what's going on. There needs to be directional signs. If you have to go to physio, how you get to physio, that sort of thing. So that'll be
The hole
ongoing.
was digging today.
What's that?
The hole was digging today.
At the back, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting. For anyone that's interested, there's CCANs that are going to be coming in fairly shortly or maybe arriving now. And that is just in preparation for the rentals and storage and office spaces and stuff like that. I have been meeting ongoing with the Sinala Culturally Supportive Housing Society and discussing how things are moving forward, so that's good. And as well, meeting with the agriculture transition team. And as the councils have said, you know, we know that they're hearing us. It's just if that comes to fruition or not.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed. And I had a great Christmas holiday. Miss Port Hardy. I was glad to get back to Port Hardy. It's really, really cold in Ontario right now, and minus 18 when we left. And it's nice to come back to above zero.
And you're taking ownership of Canada's performance in the World Juniors?
I am not taking ownership of Canada's performance in the World Juniors. We do have some suggestions on how to improve. But I don't know if they'll consult with me. And so that's it for now. Okay, information and announcements. We've got a few different meetings coming up. I just wanted to reiterate about January 31st is the deadline to appeal any property value assessments. And I know Port Hardy's assessments didn't really change all that drastically, but those are the ones I know about. But if anyone has any dispute, you only have until January 31st. And I don't think they're mailing out the assessments. I think you can only look at them online. And that's because of the postal strike.
Mhm.
So, but I could be wrong on that. Is that correct? Do you know, CEO, about, are they mailing out the assessments?
My email said that I was only going to be able to view it online at this point in time. So to get online, I think I'd have to double check, but there might have been a disclaimer saying they might come, but be late, so get online.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, there's disclaimer.
They were mailed though, right?
I believe so.
They're
okay,
delayed
but
to
if you got,
construction.
if it's January 31st is a disputing date or last day to dispute, then
Go online.
Yeah, that
go
does not
online to
change.
just double check what you're getting and see if you agree with it. Okay, we have,
If I
Sorry, go ahead.
Not, I don't know, maybe just for information, but the Dollarama is open today, 9 to 9, 7 days a week. That's
9 to 9?
9 to 9,
7 days a week.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I just had to share that. I was a little excited today. It felt like a community going through the halls. They're all giggling. It was nice.
It's nice to have a new business open,
is,
and
it
I'm
is.
sure they've had their struggles in their construction. and
They did a
lots of-
great job. It looks great. in there.
Does it?
So that's great. Thank you. It's a positive news.
It-
Yeah, we need that.
So we don't have any in-camera notice and motion to adjourn. Counselor Dugas. Do we have anybody online? No. Any questions back there?
Just one question, Mayor. Pertaining to the